What just happened at the Miss Award 2025 ceremony that has the entire nation talking? And why did China's highest leader break protocol to publicly acknowledge two entertainment stars? The glittering stage of Beijing's National Grand Theater witnessed an unprecedented moment last night that nobody saw coming. A moment that would redefine the relationship between Chinese leadership and the entertainment industry forever. As millions watched live expecting just another awards show, they got something entirely different. A political endorsement that has left critics, fans, and industry insiders scrambling to understand its implications. The question on everyone's lips this morning isn't just who won. It's what this means for the future of Chinese entertainment, censorship, and the mysterious intersection where art meets state power. Could this be the beginning of a new era where Beijing embraces celebrity culture? Or is something far more calculated happening behind the velvet curtains of China's tightly controlled media landscape? Liu Yuning, the multi-talented singer-actor whose brooding intensity has captured hearts across Asia, stood shoulder to shoulder with Zhao Lusi, the beloved actress whose girl-next-door charm has made her one of China's most bankable stars. Together, they accepted the coveted Miss Award 2025, but it wasn't their emotional speeches or designer outfits that dominated headlines. It was the 7-minute video message that followed, a carefully crafted statement from President Xi Jinping himself, that turned a routine entertainment event into a geopolitical talking point. Social media platforms crashed within minutes. International news agencies scrambled their Beijing correspondents. Entertainment stocks surged. And somewhere in the chaos, two celebrities found themselves at the center of a storm they never auditioned for. When was the last time you saw a sitting Chinese president publicly praise entertainment figures by name? And what does this tell us about the seismic shifts happening in China's cultural policy? The answer is never. Or at least, not in living memory, not with this level of specificity and calculated intention. The Miss Award 2025 ceremony, held on October 9th at the iconic National Grand Theater, was supposed to be a celebration of artistic achievement, a night where China's brightest stars would be recognized for their contributions to film, television, and music. Industry veterans had predicted safe choices, established names, perhaps some surprise wins to keep the audience engaged. Nobody, absolutely nobody, predicted that the ceremony would transform into a watershed moment that would force entertainment analysts, political scientists, and cultural critics to completely reassess their understanding of where Chinese soft power is heading in 2025 and beyond. The National Grand Theater, architect Paul Andrews' titanium and glass masterpiece nestled beside the Forbidden City, had never felt more electrically charged. Over 3,000 guests filled the auditorium, representing every echelon of Chinese entertainment. Directors whose films have grossed billions, producers who control massive media empires, actors whose faces adorn advertisements from Shanghai to Chengdu, musicians whose songs soundtrack the lives of hundreds of millions. The red carpet arrivals had already generated their own mini-controversies. Who wore what designer, whose absence was most conspicuous, which couples were photographed together and which carefully avoided each other. Fashion critics had filled thousands of column inches dissecting hemlines and necklines. But all of that vapid glamour would soon be forgotten, rendered utterly irrelevant by what was about to unfold. Liu Yuning arrived fashionably late, as befitting his reputation for theatrical entrances. The 32-year-old had dominated entertainment headlines throughout 2024 and into 2025 with a string of critically acclaimed performances that showcased his extraordinary range. His role in the historical epic The Last Dynasty had earned him comparisons to some of China's greatest actors, while his musical releases had top charts and broken streaming records. Dressed in a custom-tailored black suit with subtle traditional Chinese elements woven into its modern design, Liu exuded the confident charisma that had made him a favorite among demographics ranging from teenagers to middle-aged professionals. His trajectory from relatively unknown singer to A-list actor had been meteoric, and industry insiders whispered that his success was no accident, that careful management, strategic role selection, and an almost supernatural ability to read public sentiment had propelled him to the top tier of Chinese entertainment. Zhao Lusi, by contrast, arrived precisely on time, her punctuality itself a statement of professionalism that had become her trademark. At 26, she had already accumulated a filmography that most actors would need 2 decades to achieve. Her performances in romantic dramas had earned her a devoted fanbase that transcended borders, with international streaming numbers that made her one of China's most valuable cultural exports. But beneath the romantic comedy roles and the sweet, accessible public persona, lay an actress of considerable depth and technical skill. Her recent dramatic turn in Whispers of the Capital had silenced critics who had dismissed her as merely a pretty face, earning her serious consideration for major awards. Dressed in an elegant Qipao-inspired gown that balanced tradition and modernity, Zhao represented a particular vision of Chinese femininity that resonated domestically while maintaining international appeal, a difficult balance that few entertainers successfully navigated. The ceremony itself unfolded with the polished precision that Chinese television had perfected over decades of hosting major events. Musical performances alternated with award presentations, each category announced with appropriate gravitas. Technical awards went to deserving cinematographers and sound designers. Supporting actor categories generated their expected emotional reactions, with winners tearfully thanking parents, mentors, and the unnamed relevant departments, whose approval made their work possible. The audience settled into the comfortable rhythm of a well-produced awards show, even as social media outside the theater buzzed with real-time commentary, memes, and speculation about the major categories still to come. The Miss Award itself, officially the Miss Award for Outstanding Contribution to Chinese Entertainment, occupied a unique position in the Chinese awards landscape. Unlike category-specific awards for Best Actor or Director, the Miss Award recognized broader impact, considering not just artistic merit but cultural influence, professional conduct, international reach, and contribution to Chinese soft power. Previous winners read like a who's who of Chinese entertainment royalty: directors whose films had won at international festivals, actors who had successfully crossed over to Hollywood, musicians whose work had been performed at state functions. Winning the Miss Award was considered a career-defining achievement, a stamp of approval that opened doors to opportunities unavailable to even very successful performers. It was also, crucially, an award that required approval from multiple government departments, making it as much a political statement as an artistic recognition. When the announcement came that Liu Yuning and Zhao Lusi would share the 2025 Miss Award, the initial reaction was surprise rather than shock. Joint winners were unusual but not unprecedented. Both had certainly achieved enough to merit serious consideration. Liu's transformation from musician to respected actor, combined with his clean public image and careful avoidance of the scandals that had destroyed other careers, made him a safe choice. Zhao's consistent box office success, her popularity among young viewers, and her skillful social media presence had made her one of the most visible faces of Chinese entertainment. Together, they represented different facets of the industry, different audience demographics, different pathways to success. It seemed in that moment like a reasonable, even predictable decision by the awards committee. Their acceptance speeches followed familiar patterns. Liu spoke eloquently about the responsibility that came with public recognition, about the importance of using one's platform to promote positive values, about his gratitude to everyone who had supported his career. Zhao emphasized teamwork, the collaborative nature of entertainment production, her respect for the craft, and her hope to continue growing as an artist. Both speeches were gracious, humble, appropriately emotional but not overly dramatic. They hit every expected note. The audience applauded warmly. Social media reactions were positive. It seemed, for approximately 4 minutes, like the ceremony would continue smoothly toward its conclusion. Then the massive LED screens flanking the stage flickered. The house lights dimmed further. A hush fell over the audience as it became clear something unusual was about to happen. The screens displayed the national emblem of the People's Republic of China, and suddenly every person in that auditorium understood that this was no longer merely an entertainment event. When President Xi Jinping's face appeared on those screens, the collective intake of breath was audible even over the sophisticated sound system. What followed was unprecedented. President Xi, speaking from what appeared to be his office in Zongnanhai, delivered a 7-minute address that specifically named Liu Yuning and Zhao Lusi, praised their individual achievements, and contextualized their success within broader narratives of Chinese cultural confidence, national rejuvenation, and soft power projection. The speech was remarkable not just for its existence, but for its specificity and its implications. Tonight, we celebrate 2 exceptional individuals who represent the best of Chinese artistic achievement. President Xi began, his tone measured and authoritative. Liu Yuning and Zhao Lusi have demonstrated through their work that Chinese stories, told by Chinese artists, can resonate not only within our borders but across the world. Their success is not merely personal triumph, but a reflection of our nation's growing cultural confidence and our ability to produce entertainment that competes on the global stage while remaining rooted in Chinese values and Chinese perspectives. The camera operators capturing the ceremony scrambled to show reaction shots. Liu Yuning sat motionless, his face frozen in an expression that might have been pride or might have been barely controlled panic, understanding, perhaps, that his life had just irrevocably changed. Zhao Lusi's eyes glistened with tears, though whether from genuine emotion or the overwhelming pressure of the moment was impossible to determine. Around them, other celebrities maintained carefully neutral expressions, Aware that their own reactions were being recorded and would be analyzed frame by frame, President Xi continued,